Are you ready? We have just finished close consultations of the members of the Security Council on the situation around the implementation of the 30-day moratorium between Russia and Ukraine on mutual energy infrastructure strikes. Frankly, these were the most odd consultations I participated in during my time here. I spoke, US spoke, nobody else spoke. That was it. We initially asked for consultations, but our Western colleagues requested a closed briefing by the Security Council, refusing initially to discuss it in consultations, which is also strange because we discuss in consultations many issues that the Council is dealing with, and we don't see why the Council members cannot do it in Ukraine and can only do it publicly, speaking before the cameras. As many of you know, the initiative for this limited ceasefire was put forward by President Donald Trump during his phone call with President Vladimir Putin on March 18th. Shortly thereafter, both sides agreed upon a list of specific facilities to be covered by the temporary moratorium. We supported this proposal and immediately issued orders to our military to comply. They even had to undertake extraordinary measures, including intercepting our own drones, which were already heading towards Ukrainian territory. Russia has been from day one strictly observing the terms of this understanding, which was not the case as far as Ukraine is concerned. Although Zelensky publicly expressed support for the ceasefire, in reality Ukrainian forces have largely disregarded it, launching attacks on Russia's fuel and energy infrastructure on a daily basis. Since the moratorium took effect on March 18th, Ukraine's armed forces have conducted over 120 strikes. The targets have included energy facilities in the Krasnodar region, in the Belgorod, Bryansk, Zaporozhye, Kursk and Kherson regions. On April 2nd, we circulated a letter with the list of these violations from 18 to 28th of March as an official document of the UN Security Council. To offer a few concrete examples. Just hours after the conclusion of the Russian-US talks, Ukrainian forces struck a facility in the settlement of Kavkazskaya, which plays a key role in transferring oil into the Caspian pipeline consortium system. This resulted in a fire covering 1,700 square meters. On March 21st, multiple attacks were carried out near the Kursk nuclear power plant, and the Sudzha gas metering station in Kursk region was sabotaged. On March 28th, that station was completely destroyed using HIMARS rocket systems. Between April 8 and 9, a terrorist attack targeting the Karinovsky compressor station, a key component of the Turk Stream pipeline infrastructure, was hit. Then on April 9th, 2 drones were directed at the Temryuk gas distribution station, putting the city and port's energy supply at serious risk. Today, the armed forces of Ukraine carried out an attack near the Zaporozhye nuclear power plant. A drone was neutralized 300 meters from the plant's premises near Building G, which houses the world's only full-scale reactor hull simulator. These repeated violations highlight Ukraine's unwillingness to engage in any serious effort towards de-escalation or peace. We continue to share updated reports about Kyiv's non-compliance with our partners and with relevant international institutions. And today we posed a question to the Western backers of the Kyiv regime, whether they are ready to pressure Ukraine and make Zelensky observe the terms of the moratorium on the energy strikes. There was no clear answer. As I said, nobody spoke. Just usual attempts to justify everything Kyiv regime does and blame Russia for everything. We will report this to Moscow, and this position will be duly taken into account. As of now, no new directives have been issued by the President of Russia regarding the status of the moratorium. Thank you very much.
Ambassador, can you confirm that there is direct talks between Russia and Ukraine in Turkey somewhere to confirm the Black Sea ceasefire? And will there be another Black Sea grain initiative?
Nothing that I
Nothing?
know anything about.
Okay.
Ambassador, thank you. President Trump said earlier today that a ceasefire is close, that it's coming. How would you evaluate these comments, and how do you evaluate the U.S.-Russia negotiations going at this moment?
Look, I cannot speak on behalf of President Trump. Perhaps he knows better. What I don't know, how close are we to the ceasefire, is a big question to me personally, because as I said, we had an attempt on a limited ceasefire on energy infrastructure, which was not observed by the Ukrainian side. So in these circumstances, to speak about ceasefire is simply unrealistic at this stage. And today we were asked the consultations whether we would be ready for a comprehensive ceasefire. We said that there are big issues with the comprehensive ceasefire, because we remember Minsk agreements, how they were misused and abused to prepare Ukraine for the confrontation, and they were completely in non-compliance with the Minsk agreements from day one. Secondly, given the current situation with the current ceasefire, we doubt that anything else will work. And thirdly, who will be monitoring this ceasefire? These are questions that have no answers.
Ambassador, the German government is contemplating giving Taurus missiles to Ukraine. If this does occur, do you believe that this would involve Germany directly into the war? And if I have,
it will.
It
will.
If I may, just one more question. The Trump administration is threatening military action if they don't reach negotiations with Iran. How do you evaluate this in general, the threat of using military force
I know
against Iran?
that I hear from the news that negotiations between the US and Iran are ongoing, and we hear from the White House that the preferred option for President Trump is to reach a solution, a political solution on it. Hope that will be the case.
Could you elaborate a little bit on Germany being involved with these
Yes,
missiles?
if Germany is involved one way or the other, NATO is involved in this conflict. We said it openly. I mean, they are waging a war against Russia with the help of their proxies. If they supply Taurus, that will be another step in the direction of escalation.
Mr. Ambassador, on the topic of Iran, would Russia be open to taking Iran's uranium stockpile as part of the negotiations between the U.S. and Iran?
What do you mean?
The 60% uranium stockpile, like Russia did during the JCPOA, would Russia be willing to accept that as part of the negotiations between?
Iran exports the nuclear fuel that has been utilized to Russia a long time. It was within the JCPOA package. First we have to understand how the situation around Iran and the deal will fare. Hopefully, as I said, it will be a political solution on acceptable terms to both sides. Iran has its own interests, including in the peaceful nuclear development, as they say all the time, and they have the full right for it. And the other side wants to make sure that this is peaceful, which Iran confirms at any particular moment when it is being asked about.
Thank you, Mr. Ambassador. Always nice to see you.
Somebody wanted. Yeah, you're speaking. Yeah, of course.
Thank you. There was a meeting today between U.S. and European officials focused on Ukraine. What would Russia like to see come out of that meeting that could hopefully lead to some kind of a cessation of hostilities?
We would like the Europeans to stop arming Ukraine and encouraging it to continue the conflict and to convince it to accept the conditions that would lead to resolving of this crisis. So far, we don't see it, neither on the level of the European Commission or the European Union or individual European countries. They are all belligerent. Many of them, most of them are belligerent. They don't talk peace. They want Ukraine to continue. Where it will lead Ukraine, they don't care, I'm afraid, because it leads it to an abyss.
And if that happened, would Russia immediately halt its military activities and ask its military partners to halt their arms shipments to Russia?
Look, you are now again referring back to the question of the comprehensive ceasefire. I already answered that question. So far, we are not in the situation where we can seriously discuss comprehensive ceasefire.
Thank you, Mr. Ambassador. Do you think that any ceasefire that could be reached between Russia and Ukraine should be supported by Security Council product, for example, a resolution?
Let's see. We have one resolution that calls for ending the conflict, which was adopted at the initiative of the United States. What will be necessary if we reach any kind of agreement, we'll see in the Council. That all depends on what will be the terms of the eventual ceasefire and what will be the language of the product to which you are referring. Thank you very much.
Ambassador, last question. Can you please give us any update about Russia's presence in Syria? If the Russia's troop is still in Syria, and can you tell us, is there any dialogue between Russia and transitional government in Syria?
There is a dialogue between Russia and transitional government. You know that our special envoy visited Syria. Our president spoke to the transitional leader. Our military are where they were. So we were talking to the current Syrian government. Yes. Thank you.